Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about how to tackle fear and confidence and speaking up when you feel really nervous or perhaps feel uncomfortable about speaking through the silence and leading. So for those of you who are new to my channel, I'm Nikki. I have been a leader for 17 years. I started from a really small team of just 2 people and have managed to build that up to multi-location leading leaders of over 300 people. I hope you enjoy today's session. Today we're going to cover off being confident when you're in a situation where you want to speak up and maybe you're feeling a bit nervous, and some of the tips that I've learned over the years as being a bit more of an introverted leader to help me overcome that barrier that exists for some of us of speaking up in the silence. So first up, some practical tips. The first one is around active listening. One thing that I think is a bit of an introvert superpower is our willingness to sit back and listen. So if you are in a situation where perhaps you're listening to a presentation or you're in a meeting, I think doing that really active listening where you're just listening to what somebody's trying to bring across to the group, and then I quite often will take notes. So I take notes as a way of sort of processing what I'm hearing and really thinking about what somebody's trying to communicate to me, and then I'll also jot down a few things that I might think of that I could contribute to the conversation with. By doing this, it really means that I'm putting thought into what I might want to communicate if I did contribute to the conversation. So if I'm listening, I'm taking notes, I'm noting down questions I might have, when it comes time for them to ask for questions or for me to want to give my feedback, I've then got quite an articulate response already written down. That means that my fear that I might have about speaking up in a situation is reduced because I already know what I want to say, and I feel confident that what I'm going to say is really clear and that I've heard what they've said. I think we've all been in situations where somebody's asked a question or made a comment off the cuff and you're sitting there thinking, but they just said that, or no, I'm pretty sure that's not what that person was saying when they were speaking. And I think you'll find that in a lot of occasions where that does happen, it's because they haven't been just listening. And I think that's a really true sign of respect to the speaker as well, if you're actually sitting there listening and then able to make genuine questions. So that leads into confidence. So I find that I speak a lot clearer if I feel confident about what I'm going to say. So if I head into a conversation where I'm not confident and I don't really know or understand the situation, you can feel it, and I think that comes across when you're speaking. So my tip for building confidence is to be prepared. So if it is possible, if you're going to a presentation or you're going to a meeting or you are yourself presenting, you are prepared. So you take the time to read up, get some data and facts, write them down, take them with you. So then when the opportunity comes to contribute or when you're speaking about it, you're ready, you're prepared. So that for me is crucial. I cannot give off-the-cuff presentations. I'm sure I will, and I do at a push, but it's not my comfortable zone. So I know that about myself, and I make sure that I'm prepared as I can be. In situations where I do have to respond on the spot, and this happens a lot when you're in a leadership role, is that people will ask you questions, and there are sometimes people that just want to put you on the spot, and that is their MO. In those situations, if I already have the knowledge, great, I can respond, no big deal. If I'm not, I always have in my head, it is much better to say, that's a great question, I'm going to get back to you on that, than to try and fudge your way through something that potentially someone else in the audience already knows and then speaks up and says, nah, you're wrong. So that's embarrassing. So my tip is to be as prepared as you can, but also remember that you don't have to know absolutely everything, and it's fine to get back to people with perhaps one of those wee short statements that helps you when you're in a bit of a, oh, everybody's looking at me, I need to say something, and I'll get back to you. That's a great question, is a good way to respond. So now comes the next one. A lot of the times, the reason that we're scared or nervous to speak up in a situation is because we're fearful of being judged. I think we've all had those thoughts that come into our minds where we're sitting there and we're thinking, oh, that's not correct, or what they're saying isn't making sense to me. Oh, I'm not going to ask a question because then I'll look stupid, or oh, I'm not going to say it because I'm probably wrong. I think you need to remember that everybody feels this way, and if you're sitting in a situation where you're at a meeting, there is a small percentage of people that are sitting there thinking, I'm really interested in this, I want to know more, I want to problem solve, or this is information that I'm interested in and I want to ask questions. And then there's another percentage that are sitting there thinking, oh, I thought this was going to be 30 minutes. We've already sat here for 32 minutes. When are we leaving? And then there's the other percentage that are thinking, wow, pretty sure I'm going to have chicken for dinner. What am I going to make with the chicken? Where am I going to get that from? Do I have to go to the supermarket? Oh, I bet you my husband hasn't got to the supermarket. So I think you need to get it in perspective. A lot of people are too busy sitting there thinking about themselves and their own problems and what they want to do than they are thinking about what you're saying. So my approach is to think I only am really talking to the people that are actually sitting there interested in what I'm saying and want to know more. So I think if you come from what I'm saying is for the curious or the people that already know and they want an update, and it's not for that other percentage of people that maybe don't really care, not really interested, you're talking to the people that you know are interested. I also know that the more times you practice, the more times you speak up in those situations, the easier it gets. So even though it's a cliche, practice makes perfect, it's true for so many things. So my tip to speak up when perhaps you want to sit back and be more silent as a leader is to listen to what people are trying to convey, make sure that you're as knowledgeable as you can be if the situation requires it, and that will build confidence in you and what you're saying. And practice. Just keep doing it. Keep putting yourself out there and speaking up when you know you have something to share. And if it's public speaking, the more you do it, the easier it gets. Just like hopefully YouTube videos will be for me. So thank you very much everybody for watching. Appreciate your support. Please subscribe if you're interested in hearing more about leadership and some of the tips that I have to share about how to overcome some of the leadership obstacles that may present themselves if you're a little bit more of a quiet or introverted or perhaps shy leader. So whether you're new to leadership or you're experienced in leadership, hopefully there's something there for everybody. Thanks very much.